The Ukrainian players draped in their national flag. It's always about more than a game of football for them, given the events in their homeland. Looking to get back to winning ways in the Armenian capital. Well, Armenia have been hit by suspension for this one. 4 players unavailable, including Edward Spertsian, who scored the winner here against the Republic of Ireland on match day 1. Defender Arman Hovhannisyan was sent off against Scotland in June. He's also out. So 3 changes from that match. Lucas Zelarayan starts just his 3rd game for his country and his first for 10 months. Andrei Kalisia makes his first appearance of this Nations League. And Zihar Magarian is in to win his 3rd cap in a lineup that does look set to frustrate Ukraine. Joaquin Caparros, the head coach of Armenia, and the refereeing party from Portugal, led by 34-year-old João Pinheiro. Well, no messing about from Ukrainian head coach Vladimir Petrakov. He changes the whole side following defeat in Glasgow in the week. A couple who missed that match are available here. Ilya Zabani and Vitaly Mikolenko, both fit to start. One of the questions for the coach was who would play in goal. Andrei Lunin of Real Madrid gets the nod. So just 4 of this side started the win against Armenia in June, including Vitaly Mikolenko, who got his first international goal in that match. Five changes permitted for both sides, so I'm sure at some point we'll see one of the most talked about young players in European football at the moment, Mikhailo Mudryk, who is named among the Ukrainian substitutes. So this afternoon's fixture played in the Republican Stadium, named after Vazgan Sargsyan. We're in the Armenian capital, Yerevan. Not quite a full capacity of 14,000, but a very nice warm afternoon, about 25 degrees. As Ukraine get us underway, playing in yellow. Armenian, the hosts, in red. Ukraine looking to return to the top of the group, a position that they'd held pretty much since the start, but got snatched away from them in the week in Glasgow. Darren, the initial thought looking at the 2 lineups in paper is that there are 2 nations here who are set up not to concede early.
Yeah, it seems that way. And Armenia, you have to set up not to concede, conceding, as we discussed earlier, so many goals. And if you are Armenia, I think you need to try and capitalise on the poor form, albeit 11 changes, but capitalise on that and get an early goal. And if you can, then try and frustrate Ukraine. And it seems like that's how they're set up and what they're trying to do.
Well, looking to run in behind here. Shagankov is giving chase, and he's done well to keep that in, actually. First examination for that Armenian defence, and they've managed to get it away. Tigran Bashegyan was the player in pursuit.
It's a good run in behind there from Shagankov, and he kept it on extremely well, and unexpected. Armenia, I didn't expect him to keep that on. And it almost created a good opportunity for Ukraine in the box, but Armenia done well to clear it.
They're not the deepest pool of players to choose from, Armenia, and so they're keenly missing at least a couple of the starters from the last game, particularly Spertsian, who we touched on a moment ago, has scored one of the rare goals that they've managed in this group. Arman Hovhannisyan, who was sent off for the 2nd time in the Nations League in the last game here against Scotland, he will play no further part. He's suspended not just this afternoon, but also for the final match in Dublin on Tuesday night. Hovhannes Hambatsumian making inroads down the Armenian right. Well, they've had a very congested run, Ukraine, because of having to fit in that playoff match. all resources have been stretched, but a boost for them that the Ukrainian league season is up and running, albeit for obvious reasons with no crowds in there. So they have a Ukrainian party within their ranks who are home-based. 4 I should say, Dynamo Kyiv players, smattering from Shakhtar Donetsk as well. And they all have match sharpness, which is something they didn't necessarily have for that summer window.
It's always good to have players that play at club level as well together, and if you have more than a few, you obviously know each other's games, you know what you bring to the team, you're comfortable with your teammates around you as well. And Ukraine seem to have a lot of players that are, and they're close-knit anyway, given what's happened and the circumstances that they found themselves in. But to have as many as they have from Shakhtar Donetsk, it really helps.
And they've certainly made ripples at the start of the Champions League. Shakhtar Donetsk taking a point off Celtic and a thumping win away at RB Leipzig. That's one of the Dynamo Kyiv representatives, Viktor Shagankov, who is down.
Oh, it's a poor challenge. I think it's from Gregorian. It's through the back of his ankles. The referee's just allowed that to go, though. No yellow card, but I think that's so early in the game that he's allowed that one to slide, because that was a poor challenge from Gregorian.
Yeah, later on, and there could have been trouble. And speaking of trouble, an early stinger that had to be dealt with by Andrei Lunin in the Ukrainian goal. Zela Ryan, there's so much excitement about him. He sprung beyond that Ukrainian defence, but in the end couldn't find the finish.
It's a good save. It was a good save from Lunin. It was poor play at the back from Ukraine. I think it was Kacharaba. He's intercepted it, he's ran through, got into the box, and it's a poor finish from a player that, like as you said, is spoken about highly and is very highly rated. I think he needs to do a little bit better there, but it's a good save in the end from Lunin. But that was a scare for the Ukraines.
And it's certainly given the home side encouragement. This is Artek Dashan looking to get forward. Just to go back to Lucas Zela Ryan, he's Argentinian-born, winning his 5th cap. Certainly giving Vladimir Petrikov food for thought. It's actually MLS-based, so he's come over for this international window from the United States. His parent club, Columbus Crew.
He's got a good goal-scoring record out there as well. I think he's scored 27 or 30-odd goals at Columbus Crew. Like I said, I think he needs to do a little bit better. It's a fantastic opportunity. He's done everything right. He won the ball, shut him down, won the ball, as I said, ran through, got into the box, showed good pace, good composure, and the finish just wasn't quite there. Kind of snatched at the finish, and it was a comfortable save in the end from Lunin.
Ukraine looked long for Yaremchuk, who was eased out of the way by Andrei Kalasia. Khuren Baramyan. And Sidorchuk, the Ukrainian captain, dispossessed. It's one way to stop Zelaran, but it will give the home side a free kick.
He's got to take some confidence, Zelaran, though, from this opportunity that he gained. As we look at it again, he's done everything right. He's won the ball, intercepted fantastically well, showed good composure, good pace to get into there, like I said, and just snatched at the shot. But he's got to take confidence that he can build on that, and he can get in behind the Ukraine defence.
So Armenia in action here for the first time since they lost to Scotland in June. Ukraine with rather less time to get over that outing in midweek. It was a real eye-opener of a scoreline, not just a performance. They'd only conceded 1 goal in their opening 3 Nations League games, Ukraine, but they're looking porous here. Side netting this time. Ishak Shayan exposing an uncharacteristic frailty. May have been offside anyway.
Yeah, I think his left foot was just offside. I think the linesman gave it offside in the end, but again, they've got in behind Ukraine's defence quite easily, quite comfortably, and they'll take some confidence off that.
Yeah, Bishak Shayan, such as the goals have been in short supply, has chipped in pretty well. He's got 2 in his last 4 starts. '51st cap for the Armenian wearing number 15. Very experienced 36-year-old Hurya Mikoyan, who will need to organise his defence here for what is the first Ukrainian corner of the afternoon.
Looks an absolute mountain of a man as well, Mikoyan, and you can see he's captain material. You can already see that by the way he even looks, and you know he's going to be.
Shigankov with the corner. Baramyan had the chance to clear, didn't take it, and it needed Mikoyan there on the edge of his own 6-yard area to get it away.
A clash in the box from Mikoyan and his own player. I think it was Kalasia. He looks hurt. Like I said, he's very big, Mikoyan. He's built like a mountain, and yeah, they've clashed inside the box, and the referee just played on. And if a goal would have come of that, of course it was a clash between own players, but there would have been question marks as to why he didn't stop that, because it looks like a head injury.
He's spoken in the build-up to this game, Vladimir Petkov, about the need to just draw a line under what happened in Glasgow. Fairly strong message coming from the manager's office, isn't it? Making 11 changes. You know, you can look at them slightly more forensically and see that there are probably reasons for several of them, but even so, if you change the whole team, I think the players get the message that the coach isn't happy.
Yeah, of course, and it's an opportunity for the players that have come into the team. They know the manager isn't happy. They know the performance wasn't great against Scotland. They know there's a huge game coming up on Tuesday as well, and all these players from Ukraine will want to be a part of that team. So it's an opportunity. They need to impress, and it has to be said, first 10 minutes they haven't really.
Zabani, one of those who was missing due to injury in the week. Nikolenko's made a useful looking run, and he's carved out another corner for his side. Well, they were undone, weren't they, Ukraine, on a couple of occasions at Hampden Park from headers. Lyndon Dykes' introduction really took the game away from them. Let's see if they can dish it out here in Yerevan. It came off the head of Yaremchuk, but no one able to get to the second ball. Mikoyan. Zelarayan.
I mean, I always question why there aren't players going around the back post on corners. You see a lot of goals in a lot of games where it's flicked on at the front post either by a forward or a defender, and if someone just comes around the back, I mean, for a forward-thinking player, it's 4 or 5 extra goals a season if you just read that. Doesn't come all the time, but more often than not, it ends up with a flick on, and I think it was, as you said, Yaremchuk got to the front post, didn't get a full head on it, no one round the back post.
Yaremchuk is not going to get away with that, not in terms of a free kick. Given that there was more than a hint of deliberate about it, maybe he's fortunate to get away without more than just that.
Just punch the ball away. Yeah, I think he's very fortunate to not walk away with a yellow card, deliberate handball.
It's been a perky start by the hosts, Armenia, and here they come again. This is Barshegian. Challenge came in on him by Danilo Ignatenko.
Very theatrical, Bashikyan. But they're showing that they can get in behind Ukrainians' defence comfortably. It's not been a good, fantastic start for Ukraine at the moment, and like you said, it's been a perky start from Armenia, but they need to make this count.
And they did actually take the lead even earlier than this in their last home game against Scotland before it all unravelled with 4 conceded and a red card as well that didn't help there. Bishak stands over it. Lunin didn't deal with that as well as he might have done.
He just parried it Lunin, and I think Mykolenko was there just to clear the danger.
Well, we touched already on the need for Ukraine to use their squad more so, and indeed as Scotland need to, because of them playing 3 and the other 2 in this group just playing 2 fixtures. But looking worryingly like a group of individuals, Ukraine, in the opening quarter of an hour here.
Yeah, they have an opportunity. Like I said, we just touched on this, Bill. They've got an opportunity to impress the manager, who, like we said, clearly not happy after Scotland. But on the flip side, I do think it's an opportunity to give these players some game time. I think Petrikov would be expecting to get a result here, going into the game against Scotland, needing a victory to top this group, depending on what happens with Scotland-Ireland game.
Yaremchuk asked to chase that, and that's not really his game. As you can see, he's a big lad. I'd prefer the ball played into him, either to feet or something for him to get on the end of. Just going back to that Ukrainian selection, you look at it and it's effectively 5 defenders and 2 holding midfielders they got in their starting lineup here, so it's a surprise that they've been cut open on a couple of occasions in this opening period of the match.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, they've set up to not concede, maybe counter-attack, try a different kind of style of play that they're used to, but longer the game goes on, we're only 15 minutes in, but they've got opportunities to bring, as you said, Mudryk off the bench, and I'm looking forward to seeing this player play. Yarmolenko as well, an important player for them. But again, I go back to Zinchenko, they miss that leadership.
Yeah, he's the heartbeat of the side in that midfield role. He plays for his country. If we're looking at the pattern of the match from when these 2 met in Warsaw in June, it was pretty tight, pretty cagey for the opening hour before Ukraine got that first goal, and then they were able to kick on. Wouldn't be a surprise if it followed a similar pattern here. Tymczuk. Zabani. And Krzysztof, cap number 31 for the Shakhtar Donetsk centre-half. Ignatenko needs to find a better ball than that if he's going to pick out Tymczuk.
He does, but that's better from Ukraine. They're trying to keep hold of the ball, get some possession, try and build into this game, because it's been all Armenia in the opening period. So they're trying to gain possession, but then a sloppy pass gave it away once again.
Bishak gave chase, but just skidded away from him. Pitch looks pretty good from a distance. It was watered ahead of kickoff, so there's a little bit of zip to it, although that certainly won't get any quicker as the afternoon progresses here. Match kicked off at 4 o'clock local time in Yerevan.
Not a huge crowd, but as you can hear, they're trying to create an atmosphere, and it's certainly helping the Armenians already. For Ukraine, you have to create your own atmosphere, and like I said, try and build into this game.
Mykolenko. Signs that they're just starting to move the ball with a little more purpose here, Ukraine. Christoph is last man back. Zavani. Yaremchuk. Shigankov fired it wide, but at least he got in a position to create a bit of menace.
Yeah, poor finish in the end from Zichenkov, but as you said, they are getting into this game. They're having some possession. They've created this opportunity. Poor finish, 20 yards, put it wide. But yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7 passes, and that's what they have to do. When you don't start well, you have to get into the game somehow, and not always try and penetrate immediately. Get 4, 5, 6, 7 passes under your belts, and then go from there.
And they were blunt in Glasgow, weren't they? Didn't have a single shot on target throughout the match. That's the first time, actually, in the best part of 18 months that happened. Previous time against France in the Stade de France, a match which they drew. Tymczuk making forward progress with purpose. Sudorchuk. Ignatenko. He got forward well, Shigankov, forcing the near post save from David Yurchenko.
Yeah, once again, creating the A's onside. There's a hint of offside, but it was a good save in the end. Got him behind again, and like I said, Ukraine are now in this game. It's looking like anyone's going to score, it'll be them.
Well, Shigankov is certainly getting into the heart of things, isn't he? Focal part of much of what is good about them at the moment. With the help of Alexander Zubkov, Ukraine have a corner.
Yeah, Shigankov having all the opportunities for Ukraine. He was the one that got him behind and had the opportunity. And I mean, what's this, 4 or 5 corners now for Ukraine?
Let's see if they can make one count. Not this time.
Fairly even first 20 minutes, I'd say. The first 10, 12 minutes, Armenia was well on top, getting in behind, but Ukraine are coming back into this game. And like I said, if I'm going to put any money on the first goal scorer, it'd be Ukraine now. They're creating some good opportunities. Shigankov is the player that's kind of taking this game by the scruff of the neck and really taking it to Armenia.
Zabani with time to pick a diagonal to Mykolenko. Just kept it in Mykolenko, close call that. Shigankov was there and it slid in. Alexander Tymczuk sliding in at the far post for his first Ukrainian goal. And after a shaky start from the men in yellow, midway through the first half, they have the lead.
Great play from Mykolenko. A little 1-2 down the left-hand side. Just managed to keep it off. I think he found Zubkov by cutting it back. He initially played the 1-2 with Zubkov, and he found him just keeping it on. It's fantastic, and it's Shigankov again who's creating everything for Ukraine. He found Zubkov through, put it across the box, and it was a simple tap in from Tymczuk. And like we said, it was coming. The first goal was coming, and it's a great ball across from Zubkov and a simple tap in at the back post.
Well, Alexander Karayev is the usual right back for Ukraine. His deputy, Tymczuk, taking centre stage. You can usually see as a barometer of the match when the wing-backs are getting involved in an attacking sense that you're getting on top. And as you said, Darren, Mykolenko and then Tymczuk with the final touch, both right at the heart of that move for Ukraine.
Yeah, it was fantastic play from Mykolenko. He initially played a 1-2 with Zubkov, who ended up getting the assist for the goal. He hasn't been involved in the game too much, Mykolenko, but when he has, he looks dangerous, and he did there, and it was a great goal. But it was coming, and this is what I was saying at the start. Armenia need to take their opportunities when they get them, because they won't get many, and when the teams like Ukraine build into the game, it's dangerous. They look dangerous, and it was the other fullback or the other wing back that tapped it in at the far post.
28th goal they've conceded in not even 8.5 games. Familiar fault lines for the Armenians.
The goal was needed in the game for Ukraine. Like I said, first 10 minutes, they looked a little bit nervous. Maybe the disappointment is strange, because all 11 players have changed from the Scotland game, but there's still a disappointment in the camp, and they looked a little bit nervous. But like we said, they've built into this game, and the last 10 minutes they've been well on top. There was only one team that was going to take the lead, and it was Ukraine, and it was deserved.
Now they can look to play with a bit of freedom. Yaremchuk is run well marshalled by the Armenian captain Hura Mikoyan. Hambatsumian coming forward from that right side of the central defensive three. Baramyan. Baramyan buzzing around busily. Kalisia. Mykolenko anticipated that, but Armenia were able to recover.
It's going to be difficult, as we said before, for Armenia to try and get back into this game with the 5 sitting deep and the 2 deep midfielders for Ukraine, and then Mykolenko and Tymczuk are picking the right opportunities to go forward and counter-attack them. That's where the goal came from. Armenia are going to probably get to half-time. Hopefully they'll keep it at 1-0. That's what they'll be thinking, and try and change, because it's going to be difficult to break Ukraine down.
We'll feel a long way away at the moment as Ukraine come forward. 20 minutes or so until the break.
It took Shukankov to kind of, like I said, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and because Ukraine were struggling in the first 10 minutes. He had a few opportunities getting in behind, and then he was the creator really for the goal.
Sidorchuk, not the most effective through ball, but not the most effective counter-attack from Armenia. If you take the Ukrainian first 11, if you like, as that which played the playoff games both against Scotland and Wales in June, then we've got 4 of them who start here. Won't surprise you given his impact over the last 10-15 minutes. Viktor Shugankov is one. Mykolenko, who's well forward, another.
A little bit of sloppiness from both sides. The Armenia trying to counter-attack, just breaking down, and Ukraine trying to just get a few passes together in this last couple of minutes. Again, some sloppiness, misplaced passes. Someone needs to just get hold of it, try and get some possession of the football.
It's not actually unheard of wholesale changes to be made by the Ukrainian coach after the disappointment of the playoff defeat to Wales when they went to Dublin and won. It was a very callow and inexperienced side, and they still managed to get the win there. It was actually Lunin's last competitive cap in goal, and he kept a clean sheet in that one. Shugankov, so influential here, came off the bench and got the winning goal from a free kick just after the break.
I mean, when you have 3 games in a quick succession within the week, you need your squad, and he's shown 11 changes is a lot. It's dramatic, but
can't make more than that.
Exactly, it was needed. It was needed. It was a poor performance against Scotland. We know that. Conceded far too easily offset plays to Lyndon Dykes goals. But yeah, you need your squad when there's quick games.
Tymczuk forward again. And a touch of fortune the way it cannoned off the covering Margarian.
Yeah, comfortable in the end for Yushchenko to just get control of the ball. But like I said, the fullback, the wing backs, Tymczuk, Mykolenko, they're picking good opportunities to go forward and create an overload. And you know, like we said, that's where the goal came from.
Bishak-Shayan, he might be in here, but it just frustratingly bobbled away from him.
Yeah, he's looking at the goalkeeper here, Kakaraba, as in, why didn't you come out? He's nodded one home. He's just headed it back to Lunin, and Lunin backtracked to go. Whether he read that was going to go off, I don't know. But
that's what he'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I think Lunin should have come out and taken it. It was offside by all accounts in the end, but a bit of confusion in the back line of Ukraine.
You've got Taras Kasharaba, who, although he's 27 and fairly well experienced, he was a Slavia Prague player, runner-up in the Czech League last season. You've got Christoph, who's been around the block, he's 31, and Zabanyu, as he said, is one of the first-choice defenders. They don't look like a convincing unit.
Not at the moment, they don't know. And when you're playing 5 at the back with the wing-backs, you need to be convincing. And like you said, a little bit of sloppiness in the back line.
There's no clearer candidate for a yellow card than pulling back like that, and Sidorczuk has his name taken by the Portuguese referee.
Cynical. That was on Gregorian. He's got past him, Gregorian quite comfortably. Yeah, he's just pulled him back. Like you said, no clearer yellow card that you'll see in any game.
Gregorian. Vashegian. On by the goal scorer Tymczuk. Here's Sidorczuk now for Ukraine. Baramyan. Gregorian. Decent responses by Armenia, who have 2 in the box. Bishak-Shayan's one of them. Shegian's shot ends up well wide of the goal, though.
It was good play from Armenia. When they get an opportunity, they can. They put some good play together, some quick passing. Yeah, and like you said, it was Bishak-Shayan in the end. It was a speculative effort from 25 yards and deflected wide for a corner.
Well, this is the first real examination from a set piece for Ukraine. It's got the home supporters, such as they are in the ground here, excited, as is this man, Zelarayan.
I don't understand that whatsoever. We've seen, I know it's not the same team, 11 changes, but we see in the Scotland game how vulnerable they were at set plays. Armenia win their first corner and Zelarayan plays it short. I don't understand why he's done that.
Margarian. Baramian. Grigorian. Helped on its way by Bashegyan. Hambatsumyan. Grigorian. Baramian. Zabanye defended that well. Used his upper body strength to hold off Lucas Zelarayan.
Yeah, great defending, Zabanye. It was good play again for Armenia. They're starting to get control a little bit more in the game. Every time they get the ball, Ukraine are just sitting deep now, trying to soak up a little bit of pressure that Armenia are putting on them. Yeah, and it was good defending in the end.
Zabanye providing a bit of width. Armenia recovering possession. Zelarayan felt he was pulled back. The Portuguese referee João Pinheiro did not quite see it that way.
Zelarayan needs to get in the game a little bit more. He looks dangerous when he's on it. He had the first few opportunities for Armenia, but they're not getting him in the game too much. It's a big back line, big back three for Ukraine, and he is struggling when it comes up to him a little bit, but he does look dangerous with the ball at his feet.
Just over 10 to play on the first half. The moments when they've come from Armenia have been with those more diminutive, pacey strikers playing on the shoulder and through balls coming through.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this before. Ukraine defence, they look comfortable without being too comfortable. If you know, they're a little bit confused with each other, but they still look comfortable. Zelarayan is the only player that's really caused them any problems in the first 10 minutes, and I think Armenian coach will be disappointed that they've not created a little bit more.
Shigankov looking for Yaremchuk. This might be the second meeting between Armenia and Ukraine in the space of 3 months, but prior to that, you have to go back 20-odd years for the previous meeting when Rebrov and Shevchenko were in their pomp for Ukraine. In fact, Shevchenko scored twice in the previous meeting. That was a 4-3 win.
What players those were as well. Oh, Shevchenko in particular.
Had a stint more recently after his retirement, managing the national side. Here's today's scorer, Alexander Timchuk, giving chase in vain.
Yeah, just overhit the pass, Christoph, in the end. And Timchuk couldn't get on the end of it, went out for a goal kick. Looks like, as you said, the pitch looks like it's been watered, and it's playing fast at the moment.
Bashegyan. Waiting for support, and support arrives. Bishak-Shayan. Well, that's come off the referee, so it will be pulled back.
Fantastic reverse pass from Bashak-Shayan there. Fantastic. He gave the eyes to the Ukraine's defenders, played it in the middle, and it was blocked. And then, as you said, just clipped off the ref for a drop ball. It looks extremely hot out there. If you're looking at the players, the sweat is dripping off them all, so that could come into play in the last 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, the heat is not stifling, around 25 degrees, but it's a very humid afternoon in Armenia. Dashan. A slightly ponderous approach from Armenia has meant that Ukrainian could get plenty of players back, but having done that, they've still given away a free kick. Zubkov stepping over the line.
They've not really built on the goal either, Ukraine. They've kind of, like we said, they've sat back. They're soaking up the pressure now. Where they've been told to do that, get to half-time, and then go for it in the second half, I don't know, but they've sat back after the goal. They've not really created many opportunities, and again it's been Armenia that's coming forward to try and get back into the game.
Lunin happy with just that two-man initial wall. Plenty of yellow though between Lucas Zelarayan and Lunin's goal. Floated in by Zelarayan. And they had a man over there in Bayramyan.
There's an intriguing setup. Two men at the back post, one at the front post and no one else. I just feel with the vulnerability that they showed Ukraine against Scotland, just put it in the danger area. It's 11 new players, new defence, but put in the danger area. See if they're struggling as well. But they've not done that on a corner or a free kick now.
Lack of confidence, you wonder. Certainly goal scoring's not a forte for the Armenians. 2 goals in the 6 internationals coming into this. This is Barshegian, no, upended again. They're getting a chance to get their eye in from this sort of range.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity now. What are we talking, 20, 22 yards? Zelarayan, who's been taking the corners and free kicks from wide, I wonder if he's going to step up or someone else might look to step up. Barshegian is the man that's got brought down. He looks like he wants it. We'll see.
He's the top scorer for internationals out there at the moment for Armenia. Tigran Barshegian. Will he get the chance here to add to his 8th for his country? Be him or Zelarayan. Zelarayan takes it. Couldn't find the target.
I didn't call Lunin no trouble whatsoever. Like I said, he's been the main player for Armenia. Has taken the free kicks as well, the corners, and yeah, it was a poor effort. I think tried to go over the wall. He did manage to get it over the wall, but it didn't trouble Lunin whatsoever. And maybe Barshegian should have taken control of that situation.
Keen to make an impression, perhaps too keen. Lucas Zelarayan. It's just his 3rd start for Armenia, his first appearance in this Nations League. Previous 2 starts came towards the end of the last World Cup qualification campaign.
He's looked good. He's looked sharp when he's had the opportunity. Just can't create that final ball, the final pass, or the final effort. And that free kick kind of summed up Armenia going forward in the last final third.
A little bit of a communication breakdown between the 2 veterans at the back, 36-year-old Yushchenko and 36-year-old Mikoyan. Zabani has found Timshuk. Do we count that as a shot from Ignatenko?
It made me chuckle, actually. It's kind of like a sliding tackle that nearly caught the goalkeeper off guard. I don't know. Does that count as a shot off target? I don't know.
Well, the pickings have been relatively slim, so we'll put one in that column.
He'd have taken it if it went in, I'll tell you that. Kapra's going to get Armenia in. Try and give something in the second half, because I think Ukraine are there for the taking at the moment. They've not been fantastic. They've had more possession of the football, which is always going to happen. Not created too much going forward. I mean, we're chuckling over a tackle that just went wide. That's kind of summing their afternoon up. Mykolenko and Tymchuk are picking the right opportunities, as I said, to go forward. But they kind of stopped doing that now, and I think Ukraine are there for the taking. I mean, it could get back into this game if they just put a little bit extra into it.
Yeah, it's a question of belief, isn't it, for the home side? You can understand if they do have a slight inferiority complex against Ukraine. This is the 10th meeting between these two nations. 6 Ukrainian wins of the previous 9, just the one for Armenia. Away by Baramyan. Mykolenko now for Ukraine. Shigankov. Mykolenko. Patient build up this. Yaremchuk.
I think we can see a different approach potentially from Ukraine as well in the second half. I think Petrikov will get them in. Maybe some harsh words, some stern words. They're leading. They're not too uncomfortable. But you'd expect, as we said, if you take the rankings, 27 Ukraine, 92 I believe you said at the start, Armenia, you'd expect them to be controlling the game a little bit more. So I think there could be some stern words being said at half-time by Petrikov, and you could see a different Ukraine approach as well.
Yeah, you can understand if there's an element of functionality about their performance. It's all about getting the win any which way, but how, and managing for what, to all intents, looks like it's going to be a winner-takes-all clash against Scotland next week in Krakow.
Yeah, and the players for Ukraine, apart from the 4 you've mentioned, really, it's a part of the strongest team. I'm not thinking they're really staking a claim for that top of the table clash. But like you said, winning is everything. That's what they want. If they perform like this and walk away with a 1-0 victory, I don't think anyone's going to be too concerned.
Yeah, well, they're nearly halfway there, under a minute of added time to be played.
Armenia's just got to see the half out. You don't want to be conceding. You want to get to half-time. You want to have the opportunity for your coach and manager to try and make some changes. 30 seconds left of this half. They don't want to be conceding now.
Cheyenne. Well, he won't have time to make any more forward progress. João Pinheiro brings the first half to a close. Well, it hasn't always been convincing, but the scoreline exactly as Ukraine would want. Alexander Tymchuk, midway through the first half, with his first goal for his country. That's the difference here in Yerevan. Half-time, Armenia 0, Ukraine 1. by Hurrah Mukoyan, trailing Ukraine by 1-0. Alexander Tymshuk opening his account for Ukraine. 5 substitutions permitted for both head coach, and both are going to use the half-time interval to make just the one. Hovhannes Harutyunyan, number 14, is going to come on for the home side. And I think we're going to see Alexander Picolyunuk. There he is, one of the starters in Glasgow. Will, if all goes well, be one of the finishers in Yerevan. Well, interesting to see how Armenia reorganised. They've taken off an attacking player in Bishak Shayan to get Harutyunyan on. He's a more conservative-minded, more defensively-minded midfield player. And as far as the Ukrainian half-time change goes, the introduction of Picolyunuk and the withdrawal of Sidorchuk, you would imagine that is in no small part due to the fact that the man who started wearing the captain's armband also picked up a booking in the first half.
The Armenian one's a strange one for me, but Bishak Shayan I thought was playing well. And like you said, is a more defence-minded player that's come onto the field. And yeah, it's the yellow card that's created the Ukrainians' decision to take off the captain.
I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of a change in shape, a change in formation from Armenia. Maybe the withdrawal of Bishak Shayan. We'll see more of a regulation front two of Barshegian and Zelarayan, who was fouled there.
Zelarayan's played well today, like I said, in the first half. It's just the end product's not quite been there. But yeah, I think potentially we could see a formation change, as you said, Bill.
Well, we'll see how it settles down. The first of possible 5 changes. Dashian stands over it. And it's watched wide by Andrei Lunin in the Ukrainian goal.
A long way out, but I always feel when you're almost centre of the goal, it's worth a shot. I think the part of the turf went further than the football. Actually, he's kicked the floor, which was unfortunate from Dashian, because I just feel Zelarayan has been taking all the set plays. He'd been moved off it, and an opportunity to try and create something, and it was a poor effort in the end.
Two wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat coming into this in the latest edition of the UEFA Nations League for Ukraine. But the draw and the defeat coming in successive matches. That's why they can't afford to let this one slip. Zabanyi recovered well, but it won't have escaped the notice of the Armenian head coach Joaquin Kaparos that if you run at this back three of Ukraine, there's some joy to be got.
Absolutely, and there was a lot of joy in the first 10 minutes, particularly Zelarayan, who we've said has probably been Armenia's best player. So there's definitely an opportunity if they can start this second half the way they started, and in a way the way they finished the first half as well. There is some joy to be had running at the back three as it was for Ukraine.
Tigran Barshegian waits in the middle, just come short. There's only one player in there, and it was Dashian. He was well tracked by Mykolenko.
fantastic cross into the box. If you just Dashan just made the move a little bit earlier, it was good defending from Mykolenko, who didn't allow him to get in front of him. But if he just made that darting movement in front, he was 7 yards out.
It needed to be cleared from the very mouth of the Ukrainian goal. Acrobatic, but ultimately ineffective from Barshegian. But a good show of Armenian intent early in this second period.
Again, once again, the flick on from the front post, it creates an opportunity, and there was no one, barring a Ukrainian defender, there to clear it. If a forward or whoever is making a movement to get round the back post on the corners, there's goals to be had with the flick-ons from the front post.
The reward is there for attacking ambition if it's shown. But on the flip side, got to be careful at the other end of the pitch. Mykolenko, well, that was an inviting ball across the face of the Armenian goal.
Yeah, Yaremchuk in the middle on his own, the big number 9 for Ukraine. It's a great ball from Mykolenko as well. Another 1-2 that created the opportunity for the goal, but he played the 1-2, but Yaremchuk just didn't read the cross, because if he did, he's heading it, he's volleying it from 3 yards into an empty net.
Mykolenko. Kasharaba. Christoph. Zubkov. Gave that a little too much. Quite a lot too much.
Yeah, very, very poor cross. It's a good opportunity. Ukraine have started this half better than they started the first half. They're on top. Yeah, Zubkov blasted the ball for a throw-in on the far side.
Badamian. Well, the odds were against him, but he's found a teammate. And Bartsumian left on the deck. No free kick given.
The longer it goes on, 1-0 to Ukraine, I think they'll get nervous, and Armenia will try and build and gain some confidence. 1-0. They need to they need to carry on and try and gain some possession, as they are trying. But Ukraine, like I said in the first half, they look comfortable without being too comfortable. Sounds strange, but they're not playing that well, but they're comfortable. The back three are not really playing that well, but they're not.
Well, if we look at it from an Armenian point of view, there's an opportunity for them to get out of that comfort zone, and to get Ukraine out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, and I think that's the coach's job. The coach needs to see this. The coaching staff needs to see this from the sidelines and know that they are there, that they can gain some joy if they just put a little bit more into it, which the player up for Zala Ryan, he's been the best player for Armenia, and they need to get him on the ball a little bit more.
Nagarayan is looking for the most part like a 4-4-2 here for Armenia in this second period, and that is a positive show of intent if that is the case.
It is. You called this with the substitution of Bishakjian going off and a little bit of defensive-minded player coming on. I think you've seen what was going to happen, and yeah, they've gone to a 4-4-2. It looks that way, a flat 4-4-2. They have to try something.
The half-time substitute, Alexander Pikalunuk. This is Yaremchuk for Ukraine. Mykolenko, look at the position he'd taken up in the middle. Very, very positive, getting those wing-backs forward to take advantage of this shape change.
I mean, that's the bonus for Ukraine. They can exploit the space that's going to become available now. Armenia have gone to a 4-4-2. they picked the good opportunities in the first half to get forward. I think the second half and the shape change for Armenia is going to create those opportunities of space for the fullbacks, the wing-backs to exploit.
Baramyan. Grigorian. And Batsumian. Barsegyan. Well, he's kept hold of it. And the chance has gone begging. And the flag has gone up.
It was offside initially. I think you could see that he tried to bend his run. The pass was played a little bit too late. Yeah, Barsegyan was offside. Even so, he wasn't to know immediately, and kind of a waste. He didn't really know what to do. He kept hold of it a little bit too long, but the linesman should have put his flag up earlier. It was about 3 yards offside.
It's like his teammates knew it was offside. They didn't bust a gut to get up to join him, did they?
I mean, those situations, it's been said in many games, why the linesman don't just put his flag up. It's so obvious.
Video assistant referee in use. I think the instruction is that if they are in any doubt, if it's a tight one, just let it play out and then they'll have a look at it. But it certainly frustrates. Pikalyunuk. And Batsumian gifted it to Zubkov. Yaremchuk putting the pressure on the Armenian captain, Mkhoyan. Another offside flag.
I mean, that was tighter. That was tighter. How we see that immediately it was offside, I don't know. I've not seen much of a change from Ukraine. Armenia, as you said, they've changed their shape, gone to a 4-4-2. I've not seen much of Ukraine changing in terms of attacking intent.
Oh, what a beautifully taken goal by Alexander Zubkov. A first-time rocket into the back of the Armenian net. They switched off for a moment, and Ukraine were ruthless. And that second goal should be enough to take them back to the top of this group.
And the commentator's curse, I was just saying, not much attacking intent, and I think it was Timchuk got down the outside, put it in. What a fantastic finish that was, right into the top corner from Zubkov. Brilliant. As you said, Armenia switched off for a second. Timchuk's first goal scorer, and now he's got an assist, and that's a brilliant finish. That's a difficult chance because it's come across fast. All he's done is directed it, and the goalkeeper had absolutely zero chance. And kicking the teeth a little bit for Armenia, but I said there's no attacking intent, and as I said it, they got down the outside, and fantastic finish.
And the first competitive goal in the colours of his country for 21-year-old Alexander Zubkov. His only previous one coming in a friendly match, a 1-0 win against Northern Ireland. That was back in the summer of 2021. That one carrying a little more importance.
So he repaid his mate as well. Zubkov obviously assisted the first one, and Timchuk assisted Zubkov for the second one.
All happy down the Ukrainian right. Still half an hour to go. And it might sound presumptuous to think that Ukraine have done the job, but you look at Armenia, they haven't scored more than one goal in a match since March 2021, when they put 3 past Romania here on this ground, actually in a World Cup qualifier.
They need to try something now, maybe some substitutions, see if they can get one, as you said. If they get one now, half an hour to go, then it's difficult for me to get back into the game. Like I say, Ukraine hasn't played too well, but winning this game comfortably, kind of against the run of play, that goal there, but can't take nothing away from that finish. It was fantastic.
Well, we're in the territory, aren't we, as far as Ukraine are concerned, of a very effective, a very functional away performance. When the chances have come, they have been able to take them.
Yeah, and it's down to Armenia now to try and create opportunities. Ukraine can just sit there, keep hold of possession, control the game, build confidence. And if they get an opportunity, score a third, fourth, but they don't need to.
Well, we'll find out about their ambition, actually. You say they don't need to. I mean, if they are looking at finishing top of the table, of course, head-to-head record against Scotland will come into play, and courtesy of events in Glasgow on Wednesday night, that's not in their favour. Goal difference very much in Scotland's favour. Pikalunuk winning it back well. Shigankov. No one at the far post, and into the roof of the net it goes anyway.
Nice intricate little 1-2. And Yashchenko got concerned in the end. It was a slight deflection from Armenian defender, and it concerned Yashchenko, but he got away with it.
No way through for Bahramyan. Mykolenko. Well, the concern for Armenia is that they don't fall into this pattern that sometimes happens for them. When it goes wrong for them, it tends to go really wrong. Here's your Remchuk, keeping it alive well. And Armenia living a dangerous game defensively.
Yeah, you can see the lack of confidence Armenia have now, and you can see Ukraine scoring a few more goals here. And as you said, if they want to improve their goal difference, and because that could come into play, they need to start scoring a few more. And you can see Armenia look like a real lack of confidence now.
Just mentioning those bad days at the office, if you like, that Armenia have had. They conceded 5 to North Macedonia, 4 to Germany in the final 2 qualifiers of their World Cup qualification campaign. There was that friendly against Norway in March where they conceded 9. Did have a player sent off on 17 minutes on that one, and then here in their last home match, heavily beaten by Scotland. They went 1-0 up before conceding 4 goals again. Going down to 10 men didn't help them in that respect. Same player actually sent off in both those games, Arman Hovhannisyan. Speaking of disciplinary issues, a yellow card there for the centre-half Sergei Hristov, and this is why.
Yeah, once again a cynical foul. Wasn't really needed. The Armenian player was going nowhere. He's picked up an unnecessary yellow card. I'm just wondering, we're under half an hour to go into this game. The 4 players you mentioned at the start that would be in Ukraine's first 11, Yaremchuk, Zabanyi, Shigankov and Mykolenko. I wonder if Petrikov is thinking maybe rest them for it's a big game coming up on Tuesday.
Armenian changes afoot. Well, he puts in a shift, doesn't he, the big number 11 for Armenia. And his replacement is Zihar Chagoyan. One of the next generation, really, of full international Armenian players. He's a regular for the under-21s. He comes on to win his 6th cap here.
Yeah, Bashakian done one of Armenia's better players, actually, in the afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see what the substitute can create. Plenty
of bodies committed forward here. He decided to take it on himself, Viktor Shigankov.
It was a good effort as well, Shigankov. Cut inside on his left foot, just bent it past the far post. It was a good effort. You see what he was trying. He's trying to use the initial defender to catch the goalkeeper off guard, but the goalkeeper seemed to have that covered. Good effort, though.
7 goals in 40 caps coming into this. Not a bad return from a wide attacking player. And he knows he's going to have to raise his game. That's the preferred position of Mikhailo Mudryk, who's right-footed, coming in from that left-hand side. Mudrik's emergence, one of the big talking points of Ukrainian and indeed of European football at the start of this new season.
I'd like to see him make an appearance today. See, as you said, there's expectation on him now, coming on against Ireland, looking good, looking sharp, looking fast. I'd like to see him have the last 20-25 minutes.
Don't think Armenia would.
No, but again, I'm talking about the 4 players that would make Ukraine's top team. Do they need to be making too many substitutions? And as I say that,
doing some fair soothsaying today. The lack of attacking intent, then they score a goal. Lack of changes, then they make changes. Well, among the changes, we're going to see an introduction of Andrei Yarmolenko.
Just gone a little bit flat, the atmosphere. That's understandable in Armenia. 2-0 down, bottom of the group, little bit flat. Create your own atmosphere now.
Well, a goal would certainly help do that. Lukas Zalarayan, his ambition not matched by the execution.
Yeah, Zalarayan, a little bit quiet this half, but he's been Armenia's best player, along with Bajegyan, who's just gone off. He's been their best player. So, cut inside, left foot, didn't get it quite right at the end.
So Yaremchuk's afternoon is over. He won't be adding to his 13 goals he has in the colours of Ukraine. Andrei Yarmolenko, who didn't have his best night at Hampden Park, comes on. We also see the introduction of Artem Dovbyk, who will play through the middle. Like-for-like swap with Yaremchuk.
Number 9, Roman Yaremchuk.
The withdrawal of Chigankov and the introduction of Yarmolenko sees Yarmolenko win his 111th cap for Ukraine.
That's a great record. Anyone that can get over 100 caps for their national side is fantastic. Done well at West Ham. Yarmolenko obviously moved on now. But yeah, to make over 100 appearances for your country, you must be very proud.
Yeah, he's playing his club football in the United Arab Emirates now, Andrei Yarmolenko, at the ripe old age of 32. He'll be ready to go again, be a key part of the qualification campaign that is around the corner after this winter's World Cup for the UEFA European Championships in Germany in 2024. With a quarter of this contest remaining, Ukraine well placed to say over to you, Scotland, ahead of their match against the Republic of Ireland at Hampden later.
Yeah, they are. They can't be complacent, but Armenia have got to look and think if we can get a goal now, and with the last 20-25 minutes to go, there's an opportunity to get back in the game. Like I said, Ukraine hasn't played that well, and they're comfortably winning 2-0. Armenia just got to keep going, keep trying. They're bottom of the group. Why not? You can't. You have to give everything.
Here's Mykolenko. Ukraine starting to knock it around with will purpose. Yarmolenko. And the flag stays down as an immediate impact is made by Artem Dovbyk. Almost looked for a moment like they'd stop playing, but Dovbyk knew he was well positioned to make it 3 for Ukraine, and what an impact that is with a big fella off the bench. Goal number 5 for his country.
Yeah, I don't know why they stopped there. There was obviously calling for offside. It will obviously be checked. Zubkov was definitely onside. He tried to lob the goalkeeper, as you see there. And Dovbyk, back post, just heads it in from a yard. 3-0. A muted celebration. Check over, we believe, and it's a goal. I mean, I don't see why. I think they were looking at Zubkov to be offside, and he wasn't. Another assist for Ukraine's number 20.
He's having quite the afternoon, isn't he?
It's always nice as well to come on, and I think that'll be his first touch, Dovbyk, to get a goal. Always builds your confidence up fantastically well, and like I said, a muted celebration. I think they may have thought it was offside by the reaction of Armenian players, but it wasn't. Check over.
I was surprised how easy it was, perhaps.
And that's game over.
Yeah. Now
we've talking, Armenia could get another goal, but Ukraine need to go for it now. Score as many as you can.
Well, I will certainly take up that challenge. It's whistled wide, the long-range effort from Haratunyan. I think he had it covered, in fairness, didn't he, Yushchenko?
Yeah, it was a good effort, long way out. Tried to place it into the corner, yeah, and Yushchenko had that covered. You could see he pulled his arms away at the last minute, knowing it was going to go off. It looks like we're going to see this exciting young player.
The boy wonder. Mikhailo Mudryk ready to come on. Number 4, Dashan, will pick up a yellow card for being a little too physical.
Yeah, frustration from Dashan. I think Armenia players are going to feel frustrated. The coach will be frustrated as well for the goal for Dovbyk. I think that the way the Armenian players just stopped, you don't stop until the whistle goes, as you said, and even then you don't, because VAR get involved. But everyone seemed to just stop, and I think that's why it surprised Ukraine as well that the goal was allowed. It was clearly a good goal.
Well, the influential Zubkov withdrawn. He can afford a smile. Certainly his coach is very happy with him. Not a bad replacement to send on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this player, Mudryk. And Zubkov's really staked a claim for a starting position on Tuesday. A goal and 2 assists. Great performance.
Well, beaten 3-0 on Wednesday, winning 3-0 with the best part of 20 minutes to play on Saturday afternoon. Good response, good turnaround in a much changed side.
That'll be the info that was given to Ukraine from Petrikov before the game. React to the performance and the result against Scotland. Kind of unexpected to lose 3-0 against Scotland, but they've reacted in the best way possible. As you said, this is a result that is expected, really, if you look at the rankings and the form. But you have to go out and do it.
Pikalunuk. Zarbanyi. Armenia ready to make another change. Waiting in the wings is Jordi Monroy.
Extremely comfortable now, Ukraine, as we have a first glance of today's game from Mudryk. Showed a burst of pace already. I won't be surprised if we don't see another goal or 2 from Ukraine.
Well, Mikoyan has an issue. That will be addressed and assessed before they make a change. Mikoyan had to get across to stop Mudryk there. 15 years the senior of the fleet-footed Ukrainian attacker. And it looks like youth will better out experience. The calf's gone pop.
Yeah, it was a good initial challenge from Mikoyan. But as you said, initially I'm thinking, is it cramp? 75 minutes into a game, I'm not too sure. But it was a good challenge in the end, but as you say, it looks like his calf. He looks like he's in a bit of distress as well.
Well, Jordi Monroy Ararat, the Colombian-born defender, will come on in a defensive reshuffle for Armenia. And Taron Voskanyan is also going to come on. Well, this is how the injury happened. Looked pretty innocuous, didn't it?
Yeah, they're always the worst ones. He knew immediately. He tried to get up and carry on, but as soon as he took a few steps, he knew something was wrong with his calf. It's a shame because he's done well, the captain. He looked in a bit of pain at the end.
So a 40-second count for Taron Voskanyan. Jordi Monroy will go across and take up his position on the left side of the Armenian defence. Gayan, the man to make way for him. And that's that for another of the more experienced operators out there. Sergei Christoph, replaced with quarter of an hour to go. And this player you feel will almost certainly be involved. He usually is, played every minute. Mykola Matvienko at the European Championships in 2021. He's actually started 40 of Ukraine's last 43 competitive games. This is a rare rest for him. Yeah, we spoke about this before the game. One eye on the reaction, one eye on the performance versus Scotland, but one eye on the game on Tuesday again. The reverse game against Scotland. That's the most important one. This is a game, barring any miracles, they were going to come through quite convincingly, and they have at the moment. And with the game tonight, this evening, Scotland versus Ireland, you're looking at a top of the table clash on Tuesday. They've got a good side, Ukraine. A good first 11. They didn't show that against Scotland. We've discussed that. But they're showing their squad depth as well today with a good performance and a deserved victory. And like I said, I think in the last 10-15 minutes, I won't be surprised if we don't see another goal, maybe 2 goals. Yeah, and I don't think we can underestimate the fact that, you know, they only met up as a squad on Monday. They had to play in Scotland on Wednesday. They travelled through the night in the early hours of Thursday, arrived in Yerevan, had a warm-down session, one training session on Friday. It's far from straightforward to produce peak performances the whole time, but they've responded well. Armenia looking to at least take a consolation from this one. But Harutunyan's shot is comfortably brought in by Lunin.
That's what it'd been. It'd have been it's a good shot, actually. I'm just watching the replay, and it may have caught Lunin off guard. It bounced just in front of him. It was a good effort, and like you said, it would have been a consolation goal towards the end. It nearly happened again. I said that we could see another couple of goals, and the next opportunity fell to Armenia. But yeah, it's a comfortable performance by Ukraine, and 3-0, if it finishes at 3-0, fully deserved.
Well, having played his hand with the best part of quarter of an hour to play, i.e. having made all 5 substitutions, an injury to one of the players who started the match, Alexander Tymczuk, would be rather unfortunate.
Yeah, it certainly would. As you said, having made all the substitutions, first goal scorer goes down. Again, I think it just looked a little bit of cramp to me. He's worked hard getting up and down the right-hand side, so yeah, I think it's just a little bit of cramp, and the thumb comes up. It looks like he's absolutely fine.
He's smiling, thumbs up, combination that usually means the news is good.
He's got to watch that though. I think he'll come on. He'll probably be told by his coach, by his physios, just to take it easy. Don't over-excel yourself too much, because, you know, with big game coming up, you don't want to, having had a good performance, you don't want to be missing out through injury. After you get cramp, you can quite easily pop your hamstring or your calf.
Well, Armenia are going to have a go. Why not? We're 10 to play. Baramyan. Jordi Monroy. Back to Baramyan. SCOREBOARD is going to come on for the last 10 minutes. That will be the final substitution of the afternoon. Yarmolenko. Zabani. Dovbyk won't get there.
I agree with you, Bill. Just have a go, Armenia. Give the home support something to cheer about. They come out, they were loud, it's particularly in the first half, went a little bit flat after particularly the third goal for Ukraine, but give them something to cheer about. If they can get a goal, it'll be fantastic for the support.
Yarmolenko gets it back from Dovbyk, returns the favour. Dovbyk, Mudryk waits in the middle. Mykolenko wants to pull back. Plenty of red shirts are back there. Oh, that's a fabulous strike. A fabulous fourth for Ukraine. Danilo Ignatenko into the far corner for his first international goal. And this is turning into a very productive afternoon for Ukraine. Just it is a very damaging one for Armenia.
Oh, Ignatenko, what a fantastic strike that was from 22, 25 yards out. Didn't look like much was going on. It's good play from Yarmolenko. He got involved. I think Tymczuk was involved as well. And I mean, it was brilliant. Pull back to the edge of the box. I think it missed the initial player that he was going for. That is a fantastic finish, by the way. Absolutely sensational into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper stood no chance. Out of nowhere as well. Out of nowhere. And it was Dovbyk who's potentially getting the assist for that. It's a strange one because it's such a fantastic finish, and to get the assist from the outside. But again, Dovbyk's come on, first touch a goal. One of his next touches is an assist, but Ignatenko, what an absolutely sensational strike.
SCOREBOARD's on now. He came on for the final 6 minutes here against Scotland in the 4-1 defeat. He's going to get about 8 minutes here in what is looking like a 4-0 defeat. Flick from SCOREBOARD. Dashan. Ignatenko. Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko, who helped start the move, in a mood to help finish it, trying to get it back onto his left, but Monroy is able to usher it out for a corner.
They look like they want more goals. Ukraine, it's going to be a difficult last 7+ stoppage time for Armenia. Yarmolenko looks on his game. Perhaps he's thinking, I want to build my own confidence up, get a goal. 4-0. Listen, it doesn't flatter them, to be honest, but again, I can see more goals coming in this game for Ukraine.
The soothsayer has spoken. defended that near post effectively, but Dovbyk showing his strength and his appetite. And what a fine finish that is. Centre-forward play of the highest calibre. Ukraine have a fifth and Dovbyk has a second.
What an appearance it has been already for Dovbyk. His first touch scored, one of his next touches assist, and that's a sensational goal again. There's some real high-quality play, some real high-quality goals in this game, and that his feet was brilliant. You got to question the defending a little bit. Ended up coming to him here, as you see, and look, that turn there is fantastic, and look, a nice little chip over the goalkeeper. Brilliant. 5-0. I feel a little bit for the Armenian players, actually, because if you think of it, it's not really been a 5-0 game. The second half, they've just tired Armenia, and the players that have come on have made a real difference for Ukraine, and this is something Petrikov would have wanted. A reaction from his first team, and then the reaction from the players he's brought off the bench. And Dovbyk, what a great substitution that's been.
Now here comes Mudryk. Well, we said it earlier, Darren, when they lose, they tend to lose big, and that pattern is continuing, although this time, unlike the previous two insulting defeats in terms of scorelines, they have had 11 men on the pitch throughout.
Yeah, and barring the first 10 minutes, it's been fully deserved for Ukraine. They've controlled the game. They've not played particularly well until the substitutions, but they've controlled the game. And if you're in a group of 4 and you're scoring 2 and conceding 14, you're always going to finish bottom, and you're always going to struggle. And yeah, it's rightly so. This is what's happened.
More of the ball, more of the opportunities. But in terms of shots on target, it's interesting, actually. You know, there's only 2 in that. And the clinical level of the finishing is what separates the also-rans from the sides that threaten to achieve something at this level. And Dovbyk waiting in the middle, licking his lips, hoping for a hat-trick. Zabani appears to have this situation under control.
Just given up, the Armenian players, unfortunately, and I say given up. I think they just don't want to concede anymore. You don't want to be losing 6 or 7 in a national game, no matter what level you're at. I think it was Shagyan was going through, and the players from Armenia just stopped, so it was on his own to try and beat.
Nikolenko arrived, looking to add to his solitary international goal that he got against Armenia.
I think he'll be disappointed with this if he sees this back. Yarmolenko done well, got the ball at the back post, kind of had a bit more time than he thought initially, and didn't hit a convicted shot at the end.
But convincing is certainly a word you can apply particularly to this second half. 4 of the 5 Ukrainian goals coming in this second period. 2 for Dovbyk, Zubkov, and a first international goal for Danilo Ignatenko.
Yeah, I mean, it's just levels, and it's levels of fitness, and you can see, as you said, 4 goals in the second half. The substitutions have made an impact, particularly Dovbyk. He's been great since he's come on, and it's just levels to international football, and Ukraine are a lot higher than Armenia, unfortunately for Armenia.
Yellow card for Harotunyan.
And all the crowd that were showing a lot of support and making all the noise in the first half, first hour, seem to have all disappeared and gone home, which is understandable. Your team's losing 5-0. It's disappointing after a good first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, approaching 6 o'clock local time in the Armenian capital, Yerevan. Time to fade off into the evening for other pursuits. Dovbyk nearly got it to Yarmolenko. Making the challenge, I think it's Kalisia, who rather overstretched himself.
Yeah, he looks in a bit of pain, but it's good play again from Yarmolenko and Dovbyk, who have been the pick of the substitutions for Ukraine. Dovbyk in particular, 2 goals and assist. But Yarmolenko's looked sharp as well.
That's what the yellow card was for. Scraping the studs down the back of the ankle.
Yeah, there's been a lot of cards today. A lot of them cynical little pullbacks. That one there, little scrape down the Achilles. All unnecessary, really. Most of them unnecessary yellow cards.
Well, on the plus side, particularly for Ukraine, who have rather more to play for on the face of it than Armenia, depending what Ireland do later will determine exactly what they do have on the line when they go to Dublin. But of the Ukrainian yellow cards, Mykolenko, who started the game, was the only one who, if he picked up one wrist, missing that finale against Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, they've turned the goal difference around, Ukraine. You said this in the first half. There's an opportunity to do that if they came out in the second half and scored a few, which they have. They've now gone above Scotland on goal difference, again, depending what happens in this evening's game against Ireland. But it was needed. They hadn't scored many, 5 goals before today, and they've equalled that in one game. I think with the yellow cards, the substitutions, I think they've been particularly kind to Armenia here, given 2 minutes of stoppage time. When you say 30 seconds per substitution, there's been about 10 this half.
Yes, I don't think there'll be too many arguments from the Armenian contingent. And I don't think there'll be too many questions that this is exactly what Ukraine needed after the backward step in Glasgow. They've very much taken 2 forward steps in Yerevan.
Yeah, of course, that's exactly what Petrokhiv wanted, a reaction, and that's what he's got, not only from his players that he's picked to start, which was a total different 11, but the substitutions as well, who played in the last game, have come on and made a real impact.
Just to preserve the clean sheet, or to grab the consolation as far as Armenia are concerned, but he cut an isolated figure up top, didn't he, Shagoyan? Seconds remain. Yarmolenko, Mudryk, all forward, as is Mykolenko. Mudryk. Mykolenko. Grigorian bringing it out for Armenia. Well, a response after defeat with a thumping win for Ukraine. A second half performance that was irresistible. Certainly Armenia couldn't keep with him. The scoreline at the break was just 1-0. But then when they hit the afterburners in the second half, Ukraine were too hot to handle. 2 goals from Dovbyk, 1 from Zubkov, and a first international goal from Danilo Ignatenko. It's a win that ahead of tonight's fixture in Glasgow will take Ukraine to the top of the group and at the moment put them in pole position. Certainly an appetizing looking finale comes in Krakow next Tuesday night as they host Scotland. Final scoreline in Yerevan tonight. Ukraine back to winning ways in the grand manner. They've come to Armenia and they have won by 5 goals to 0.